Hey everyone, and welcome to the Tim and Jim show.
Well, how are you doing, Tim?
I'm good. How are you?
Right, it's always
Jim?
you got to remember which way to look when you're depending on where you're on the screen.
Yes, it's the opposite way that you would think, right, Jim?
Opposite day, yes. Well, it depends. If I had us flipped, I think I would have to look this way, but or maybe not. I don't know.
Right. Yes. And now that we're confusing you all, welcome to the Us show. And yeah, I'm Tim Stone here in Pennsylvania with Stone Social Media Solutions. That's my business. And Jim Fuse, who are you and what's your business?
I'm Jim Fuse with Fusion Marketing, and I'm in Marietta, Georgia, looking to help businesses go from live selling to live solving because I think
Ooh, very intriguing.
yes, it's intriguing. It's not necessarily a secret, and I want to give my friend Chris Stone credit for coming up with that term. Maybe someone else did, but he's the first one I saw use it. I've really fallen in love with it because if you think about it, Tim, and we're going to do some live solving today. We're going to talk about
Ooh,
apps that can help you
apps.
with your business because it's going to help solve maybe some of the problems that you're having. So we're not selling you any apps. We're
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 not.
showing how apps can solve. And so I think when you're thinking about even your live stream show or your podcast, if it's live and even if it's recorded, it's still solving. Maybe it's just we call that maybe recorded solving as opposed to live solving. But when it's live, we can interact with our audience, we can help them solve their problems that maybe we didn't even know about, like our good friend Gail, right? Those are a couple of great products,
Ooh.
Evernote, 1Password, and Otter. I love Otter. I need to start using it more. And I'm wondering, like with the world of AI, right? How is that going to help us solve things? Learned about something yesterday. I'll have to share with you during the show. So that's a little teaser. So Gail, great to see you. Um, but yeah, it's a
Yes.
rainy day here for us. What about you, Tim? What's your weather like up there?
Blue skies. Blue
Blue
skies. And I'm not really sure what the temperature is, but it's blue skies. I feel like I should sing a song or something.
I know. I was almost thinking that you might break into song, but I guess you're gonna hold
No,
off on that for now.
I am gonna hold off on songs. Yes. And everyone like Gail, feel free to share what apps you use for your business. We would love to know. Let's make this a conversation.
Yes. So Tim, let's start with you. What is
Ooh.
probably your favorite app? Now, folks, we're talking specifically about apps that you would use. I mean, I guess it's starting to grow where apps are even on desktop, but we're thinking more it's
Yeah.
on your phone, it's on your tablet. It's kind of like that go-to, it really helps you manage things, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe you're looking for something to help you manage stuff. would you say is the app that you just can't live without, Tim?
Oh gosh. I know you're gonna say LinkedIn, Jim, so I'm not gonna say LinkedIn, although I do
You
use
can.
LinkedIn a
You
ton.
can say it. I don't care.
No, I
You're
know you're
first.
gonna go there.
I can go to
Uh,
other apps.
that's all right. I'm gonna say QuickBooks. I'm gonna say
Ooh,
QuickBooks because QuickBooks mobile app is so user friendly. Like if you wanna create invoices, like you go see a client, if you go actually see clients in person, which I don't do that much, but even if you see a client remotely and you just want to quickly create an invoice on your phone, it's so easy to do among all the other features that are on QuickBooks in their app. It's just so user friendly. So my probably my favorite one, just because it's so easy to use, is QuickBooks Online app.
mm. Now, does it let you upload like because I this is something I've been thinking about more as my business develops. So, as an example, are you able to upload receipts and things like that so you can do some bookkeeping as well? I mean, I could see where that could
I
be
think you
very
can.
handy.
I think you can. Yeah.
Mm, yes, I like that one. That's a good one, Tim. I mean, how long have you been using that for? It sounds like is that one you've been
Been
using for a while?
using QuickBooks for a few years. The app probably a year, maybe a little bit more.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
well, probably more than that. Definitely more than that because I did use it before the pandemic when I was seeing clients more in person. Uh,
Right. Right.
yeah, it's especially good if you're I would say if you're seeing clients like out and about and you like go see them, you want to send them an invoice, you're on the go, you're like,
Right.
you know. But even if you're remote too, it's just so easy to use.
True, true, very true. I like that one. That was a really good one. I didn't see that one coming, Tim. That was very, very
Ooh,
good. That was like a
thanks.
since baseball's getting ready to start, I can say that was a curveball. There's your sports reference for today.
Oh, yes. I was waiting for the first
Spring
sports
spring
reference.
training is on its way. And did you watch the Super Bowl by chance since we just did have this
I did barely,
uh,
barely, and everyone else who was watching the Super Bowl in my house fell asleep watching the Super Bowl. What about you, Jim?
I did watch it. I did watch it.
You did.
It was a good game, and, Chiefs came out on top at the end, 38-35, so it was very, very exciting game, and, it was but, it was kinda one of those I know, Julie Riley, who works for StreamYard, huge Chiefs fans. I know she was thrilled, and, I mean, it's like I really didn't want the Eagles to win because 'cause I'm, in a kind of a Philadelphia, I don't know what you wanna call it. My teams are not from Philadelphia, so they're kind of our rivals. But I
Ah,
do know that, I do have a lot of, respect for, Jalen Hurts, who did go to the University of Alabama, and he's a great player. So he's on the Eagles quarterback, but I think I was rooting for the Chiefs because I just can't root for the Eagles. That's a whole 'nother that would take therapy sessions and other things that we'd have to go through. We'll just leave it at that. But, but yeah, I know, of course, you got the commercials, the marketing. I know some people watch it for the commercials, and I think that was kind of people were kinda like, there were some good ones. There were some that were, a little odd and strange. It was kind of funny because Tubi did a commercial where it was like the announcers on the game were talking, and then all of a sudden people were thinking like, "Hey, they just switched the channel to this Tubi thing, and I'm about to watch a movie. Where's the game?" So I thought that was
uh,
pretty funny how they did that. And, but yeah, so yeah, of course, right, there's the thing with apps. I mean, maybe some people use apps for their entertainment. Like, I actually like to use
right.
the DirecTV. I use DirecTV streaming, I don't use the satellite
Mm,
anymore.
yeah.
I like sometimes where I can have the DirecTV app when I'm out and about, and I can
Yeah.
watch any channel I want with it, even my local news, sometime well, it's weird, like, if you're out of your area, then it picks up the local stations of where you're located, so,
Right. Right.
but you can, watch TV anywhere for those that watch TV. But I would say,
Yeah.
gosh, favorite app, um That QuickBooks, that was a good one. I'm gonna say, Tim, it might surprise you, but I'm gonna say Twitter.
Oh,
Um,
Twitter. You didn't go with
Twitter.
LinkedIn. Mm,
Twitter is, because, Twitter is one, that's how I keep up with my news. Keep up with, trending topics. It's really quick and easy to communicate. You can do video on Twitter, Twitter Spaces. You can have some great audio chats. I was fortunate a couple weeks ago as a guest on Madeline Scalar's Twitter Smarter Chat, and I'm a part of the greeter team as well. And we had a audio chat about live selling, or as like I told you, I now like to call it live solving, because
yes.
that's what we're doing right now. Say we're out trying to help you solve your app problems, and so I think that, and of course, there's been some controversy we won't go into about, Twitter's change in leadership and stuff, but it's still
Right.
there, right? It didn't fall off the face of the earth. There's been talk about, speaking of apps, TikTok, right? Uh,
Right.
they're being banned from a lot of government devices. So you have to wonder, like, is TikTok going to last in the United States? Is it going to get banned from, being used in our country because there's concerns of the Chinese having, the ability to maybe scrape our data off of our phones. And realistically, if you're using your phone and using stuff, people are getting your information. And if
Mm,
you're surprised, you need to wake up. So don't put anything on your phone that you wouldn't want your mom to see. That's my
right.
advice.
You
Uh,
heard it first. You
Yeah.
heard it here
I mean, what do
first
you
from
what do you
Tim.
think, Tim? I mean, are you concerned about, TikTok being banned? I mean, I guess that kind of when we think about these apps in general, right? Don't we have to consider that, where are we ultimately, how we where we keep all our business stuff? It's like, should we be relying on rented land, as we like to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to be concerned with all of the social networks where we decide we're going to create content and park it there for our business. Um, and we just all have to make our own decisions, where is best, and where else are we going to promote our business and put our content, whether it's email newsletters or websites or things like that. And just realize also those other places are also rented land technically also because our websites and our email are also owned by somebody else. So all of that
Mm.
content, I mean, we can put it on an external drive or somewhere, right? And then we have that content, but even those other places are owned by somebody else and could
That
be owned by the
I had
Chinese
I
also.
had never thought about that, but that's a really interesting point because everyone always talks about how you own your email list, but if your email server goes down, you kind of
Right.
be in trouble.
Right.
That's very interesting, Tim Sohn. That I had not thought
Thank you,
of that.
Jim Pews.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting perspective. I think that's the first time I've heard someone say that.
Ah,
So you heard that here first on
mic
the Tim
drop.
and Jim show. Mic drop moment. Let me find a mic to drop. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I went with Twitter. What would you say is next for you?
Next, I would probably say is maybe Zoom.
Oh,
Zoom, because if you're not home or at your home office, and if you're out and about and you have an appointment and you still want to keep it, and you're near somewhere that has Wi-Fi or you have a good cell signal and you still want to keep that appointment, you could use the Zoom mobile app
yes.
and still keep that appointment. So number 2 for me would be Zoom.
That's a good one. In fact, interesting. One of the things that we've been doing is my Toastmasters club, and we had a show. I guess it's been a few months where we had Roy Ganga on talking about Toastmasters. We've started to do hybrid meetings, and
Hmm,
so part of that is we are using Zoom for those that are not there.
yeah.
But for me to get extra cameras in because of the location, I'm actually logging into Zoom on the phone as an
Huh.
alternative camera angle. So I'm like, because it doesn't always let you log in like more than once to your account, so
Yeah.
it's like, so I'll log in on the phone and that phone view is like of the whole room so the people that are on Zoom can see everybody. And so yeah, that's kind of how we're using it as an alternate
Cool.
camera on Zoom is a way to do that. Um, but
Cool.
yeah, and Zoom is continue to add some new features and functionality. I really like their new chat feature where you can like respond to people. It's letting you uh, organize your chat a little bit better. Like you can create lists. You can even do screenshots now right out of Zoom itself.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that. That's cool.
yeah, yeah, they keep you, yeah, you literally need to stay on top of the Zoom updates because to your point, it's something that they're constantly doing. And what's funny is I think the Zoom app on your phone probably is not as, bad as, like, because on the desktop, it definitely can take up a lot of resources, and so you need to make sure I've seen that where people have had issues with Zoom on their computer because it takes up a lot of resources. Sometimes it'll, like, take over your cameras and stuff, and so sometimes you have to close out of Zoom. So that's a good one. A lot of people use it, and you can also, right, you can just listen in, right? Maybe
Right.
you're in a multiple person meeting. In fact, I think it might be this week. Friday might be the global tea break, and that's a nice
Mm.
Zoom. And so if you wanted to listen in, you could listen in on your phone if you couldn't physically be there, sitting down somewhere. So that's another one. But yeah, so Zoom, that was another good one, Tim. That was another good one. Now, I will tell you a new one that's becoming a big favorite of mine, and I watched a, YouTube presentation yesterday by Phil Palin, is uh, Big View. It's a teleprompter app,
Oh.
and not only can you use it on your phone, but you can also use it on your desktop. But guess what they came out with, Tim? An AI writing tool that's just like you were talking about earlier with Canva Magic. So now
Yeah.
I can go in there and it'll write a script for me to do my video on.
Ooh.
So you just go in and you hit the little AI magic button and you tell it, you speak to it what you want it to do, and boom, Big View is now also got AI as a part of it. And so that's something I'm going to play around with. You could even ask it, create me a video script for whatever you're going to talk about, and it'll
Wow.
do it. So that one is great because it's also, it not only is it allowing you to have a script, but because it's a teleprompter app on your phone, right? I could have my phone, like, say, underneath this camera right here, and I
Yeah.
could be reading my script on my phone as opposed to, having to look off to the left or the right. And, because
Yeah.
sometimes we wanna make sure we're keeping eye contact with our, camera. So I think, that's
Yeah.
another reason why I think Big View has really made it easy, and affordable for you to do things like that, and there's lots of people using it. It'll actually even record the video. They've got an editing studio. It's really, quite a neat app that they just continue to evolve with, and so that was cool because I know we were talking about AI last week, and so the
They
fact that
were.
now it's starting to get built in. I mean, and so same thing, right? I know we both like to use Canva. I don't know, that might be
Mhm.
one of those favorite apps. But I will say this about Canva, and Canva, you might be listening to us because of all the things that we get listened to on. I feel like the app is not as robust as the desktop, and so I tend to not use Canva app as much as I do desktop. Now where I will do it, where I think it's helpful, and I'd probably say the same thing for Adobe Express or what other is if I create that project on my desktop, it's then accessible in the app for me to say post it to my social media apps where if I try to create it on the phone, it just seems to be a lot harder to do. What do you think? Do you see the same issue with Canva?
I have the same opinion as you, Jim. I have tried to create content in Canva on the phone, and I go directly to the desktop.
Yeah.
I also tried to use Magic Write in Canva, and that doesn't seem to work.
Mm.
So I don't know if it's something
The
in the
magic
design of it
the
when you
magic
hit the
wasn't
button.
working.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I prefer as well to use Canva on the desktop, at least right now. Maybe they'll
Right,
improve the functionality in the future.
right,
Um, but love Canva. I love Canva on desktop.
right, right. Yeah, because I think even with the tablet, it's still not even, I think you still have a little bit of some of those quirky issues. I do want to go back to one that was brought up by Gail, and I think it's one that people it's kind of a sleeper is Otter, right? So you speaking of Zoom, so you can actually put Otter into your Zoom, you can connect it to your Zoom, and it'll literally transcribe your whole meeting because it's taking all the audio, and it'll transcribe your meeting, and it lets when speakers have changed. But it's also great, let's say we're having a in-person meeting, right? You could just hit the little Otter record feature, and it's now recording your meeting, and then you now have it, the written thing. So you know how we always talk about someone needs to be the secretary. Well, if you're a secretary for a group, now it's like I'm just going to hit the button. It's recording the whole meeting for me. Now I just have to go up and clean up what it says because it's not 100%, but it's 90 plus percent. But that's a heck of a lot quicker and easier than trying to write all this stuff down and maybe you forgot something that somebody said. So Otter is really a powerful tool in that regards, and, I know too that, Chris Stone is a big fan of, Descript, and I know
Mhm.
Descript has an app. I haven't really used it. Have you used Descript at all, Tim?
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't used it.
Yeah, yeah, so I think, yeah, Otter's a big one, as well, though. What are some of the other apps that, what's another one, Tim? Because I haven't said it, so I'll let you say it if you wanna go with the next one. It's a social media app.
The next one I'm gonna say is actually Facebook Business Suite
Oh,
because I use Facebook for some of my clients to create content.
mhm,
And if you easily want to access analytics, even to create content, uh, if you're on the go and you need to do something quick and simple, uh, Facebook Business Suite on the phone works for simple content you want to put out there. If you want to do something more complex, obviously use the desktop. But if you want to access analytics, create simple content, I would recommend Facebook Business Suite for sure.
right. Mm, yes. Yeah, I do use that sometimes. I do think sometimes, though, I feel like I have issues, like it, like, forgets my login password, it does weird things like that. I don't know if you ever run into that where
It's
it
Facebook.
yeah, it's Facebook. It
Yeah.
definitely but yeah, so that's a good one, Facebook Business Suite. Yeah, because they're almost like making you go there if you are in business where you have to use the business suite. And then,
Yeah.
well, since you didn't say it, I was giving you the chance. The LinkedIn app is very powerful.
Yes.
It gives you some features that you're not necessarily getting on desktop. One of the ones I really like is that you can now upload photos and I believe actually and videos and put a link on it within the app. And so then when you post it, people can click that link and you can take them to your offer, to the website or whatever you're trying to share with them. So that's something that I think is really neat that they've added. And you've also got LinkedIn Audio. So with LinkedIn Audio, you can do similar to Twitter Spaces. If you've now you do need to turn on creator mode if you haven't done that yet, and that will allow you to then have an audio event. The audio quality is really good on LinkedIn Audio. I think the issue, I won't even call it an issue. It does not allow you to record it yet. That's one of the things I think that Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces allow for is the recording of your audio rooms. But it's a great great way to connect with people if you're not camera ready, like, Tim and I had to get camera ready today for all you wonderful people that are whether you're watching live or on replay. And speaking of StreamYard, Tim, I've heard that they're in the process of rolling out an app.
Yes.
So
We
that'll
heard
be
this at Podfest, right?
yes, yes, we did. So that should be interesting as well. So yeah, so those are some yeah, so what other apps, Tim, do you think people are like well, what's your favorite email app? How about that? You use an app on your phone for email?
I use Outlook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
What
so
about you?
we have a difference here. I use
Oh.
Gmail.
Ah.
Yes, I've always been a Google Mail user. I had to use Outlook back when I was in the military, and I
Okay.
don't know, maybe I just didn't like it. So I even though I have the Microsoft 365, I don't use my Outlook because, I think and I'm sure it's gotten better, but
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable with Gmail, but I could see where I know there's some things with Outlook that you can do that are, probably better for some people than Gmail, but, yeah, I'm able to have all my accounts in Gmail, and I can sort between them, and, ooh, the app. Ooh, you gotta I need to, I
The
need to
app
know
app.
more about that, Janet. What is the app? Is that
Hi,
the App
Janet.
Store? Ooh, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what that is, Tim? The app
I
app?
have no idea what the app is.
Well, Janet, now you have to explain to us what the app is. We wanna know. Inquiring minds wanna know, at least the Tim and Jim minds wanna know, what is the app? Is that like it's not the App Store, is it? Or is it like, an app that lets you create apps? That's wow, now she's got me wondering. Um, yeah,
Yes.
if there's a link to it, Janet, please drop the link 'cause I'm gonna wanna check this out. Because right, there's new apps coming out all the time. Um,
Yes. Oh, she's got her
oh,
little A on her iPhone for searching apps.
well, it could be in the App Store. The App Store will let you search apps. It does do that. I don't know if, I'm assuming the Google Play Store probably does the same thing for you, Tim, Mr. uh,
Yeah,
Galaxy Cruncher.
you can search in the
'Cause they
Play
will
Store.
advertise, like, here's the latest and greatest, like, the top in gaming and the top in, productivity as stuff gets released. Because you have right, you got your free apps, you've got your paid apps, or apps that start out free that, turn into pay and actually speaking of apps, another one that's become really big in the video editing world, I don't know if you've played with it yet, Tim, CapCut.
I haven't, but I've heard of it.
Yes, CapCut is free. It does have a way for you to kinda upgrade and pay for it, but it also has a desktop version, but it lets you do a lot of stuff. Yeah, see, now we've got Janet having to think about it, so that's good.
CapCut.
We've got her thinking about, like, the app. What app am I using? Um,
Now she's researching.
yes, yes, off to the research. She probably could just go ask ChatGPT and it would tell her.
Yes. What
Now
is
they
the
now
little
they don't
A?
have an app for that yet, but you can use it on your mobile device in the browser if you're curious. So, I guess technically your mobile browser is an app, right?
I guess. I don't know technically what you call it.
Well, I guess
Maybe.
it would be an app because you have to download it onto your phone. So I
Right.
would probably say that it is, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely. And, let's see here. So Tim, do you have any other apps that really make you, I don't know, crazy, can't live without?
Well, I mean, there's the Dunkin' app.
Ah,
I mean, that's definitely business related.
that's true because you
It's
probably get
important.
do you get reward points with that too?
No, I don't have that actually. I just had to get a Dunkin' mention in, that's all.
But they do.
Um,
I know Starbucks does that. I know it's not Dunkin', but
Yeah,
that's
they
a good point. There's a lot of shopping apps.
yeah,
Um,
for sure. And
yes,
Dunkin' does have they did switch. I forgot. It used to be rewards, I think, and now they call it something else. Or now it's called rewards. But they
right.
do still have some kind of reward feature for going so often. But another app that I use often is the Google Drive
Mm,
app and Google Docs, and like when you're
yes.
on the go, um and you need, like I ha- I have one for, like for one of my clients where it's just like an ongoing file where I just take notes from like meetings kind of thing. um and I have folders for different clients for things,
Right.
and or like video files from projects and things like that. So Google Drive is also one of my favorite apps on my phone as well.
Yes. Well, and yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, so it looks like Janet is talking about the App Store, and it's kind of its own little app, and yeah, but there is so much out there, and I'm sure the Google Play is very similar, where it gives you all these different choices based on different ranking measurements. But yeah, I like the fact, like you said, Google Drive is easily accessible, from anywhere, right? And that's kind of that whole thing, right? It's that ability to sync across your devices, and so it makes it easy to do things on the go, right? And you can even take
Yeah.
that file from your phone, and then you could text it to somebody if they need access to something quickly. So that really makes things convenient. So I think, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it goes back to I think that's part of the reason why I use the Google uh, Suite, or I think it's called Google Workspace now or something for
Okay.
my business. And then, of
Yeah.
course, my calendar app, I use my Google Calendar. The other thing I'm
Oh
able
yeah.
to do with that is, uh, like, my wife and I share our calendars, so she
Uh-huh.
can see my calendar, I can see hers, and I finally we just started this past week. I've got her inviting me to events so that it shows up on my calendar too, so I can block that time, because what's
Ah,
funny is, like, if you're going out of town, like, say you're going on a family trip, and your partner puts it on their calendar, even though you know you're going, it may not necessarily block out that time is taken on yours. So that's where it's like, "Hey, send me an invite," so when I add it to my calendar, I can say that I can set it as being busy, because if you're using something like Calendly, which actually has an app,
right.
um, you can you wanna make sure that people aren't booking time where you have something else going on, because it's kinda hard to be in
Right.
2 places at the same time, last time I checked, but
Yes.
maybe AI will change that. We'll have our AI meeting person.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I think, yeah, apps are definitely, they're constantly changing. I mean, I've thought of I mean, you probably can think of apps that you used to use all the time that have either disappeared, or there's even probably app overwhelm. I mean,
Mhm.
you've got all these different apps that can do stuff with, video, they can create shorts and this and that, and then they're like, "Well, which one should I use?" Captions, I think Chris likes one. I think it's called Captions. It does
Okay.
captions, yeah. Because
Cool.
captions is becoming big, for a number of reasons. Probably number 1 for, accessibility for folks that maybe can't, easily share in your content if you don't provide those, uh, captions. In fact, that's what's interesting is right now, right, people that are watching on LinkedIn, or I think even on Facebook,
Mhm.
our video is captioning if they turned on captions. Now, I don't know if it's 100% accurate. It might be misspelling and mispronouncing our words. Uh,
Right. Sometimes they're pretty interesting.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Um,
But they're trying.
now from a learning perspective, Tim, something that I've started recently using as an app is Duolingo. And so I'm
Ooh.
brushing up on my Espanol. And so it lets me learn Spanish on my phone in an app,
Oh.
and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know if you've
Are you going to share some words that you've learned recently with
I
us?
I know several words. Like I could say, "Hola, ¿cómo estás, Tim?" And I know you know some Spanish, so you probably could respond.
See. Bien, gracias. You too?
Muy bien, gracias. See. And so,
See.
C. We'll say a lot of C. T, E. Oh, no, that's not the letters of the alphabet. But I think that, yeah, so there's ways to learn things. I mean, YouTube is an app, right? So you can
Yeah.
get YouTube University on
Yes.
your phone and learn on the go. So I think these are the things that apps are really, exposing us to. I think the other thing, though, too, is we do need to, take breaks, right? So
Yes.
I will say with a lot of the apps, especially the social media apps, I turn off my notifications. 'Cause one, I don't want my
Yes.
phone constantly going, now I have my phone on silence most of the time anyway, uh, but I wanna be hearing this like bing, 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 'cause, somebody
Yes.
posted something. And it's okay, folks. Turn off your notifications.
Yes.
It's, and I know some people have actually taken their apps off their phone so that where, like, for, say, some of these social they only do it on their computer. And that's an interesting way to do things, but I just don't know that I can do that. What about you,
I'll
Tim?
do that from time to time, like for a weekend or something. I'll just I'll remove LinkedIn from my phone because
Really?
even if I turn off the notifications, I know I'll still go to the app like
Oh,
frequently.
oh,
So I'll just delete it from my phone. Or if we're going somewhere as a family,
right,
like I'll just leave my phone at home.
right.
Um, just because I know I'm gonna go on my phone. Like I'll go to LinkedIn or I'll go wherever anyway. So
Mhm.
I'll just leave it at home because I want to make sure I'm present with the family for sure.
Right, right.
Um, yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah.
And then I've been using WhatsApp app.
Oh, WhatsApp. What do you use WhatsApp for?
So what's funny is my mom prefers to communicate with WhatsApp as opposed to, say, text or Facebook Messenger. So that's usually
Oh,
how I communicate with my mom. And then I'm actually working with Marissa Cali and some other folks. And so to communicate as a team on this project, we have a WhatsApp group. And
okay.
I think people like to use that because one, it is international. So if you have people that maybe are outside of the US, it's easier for them to connect that way. And I think, and we used it at Social Media Marketing World last year for our group, our team, I should say, as a way to communicate because we did have people from outside the US as opposed, because they can't text because they do that. And I think it allows you to get past that, say, I think on iOS it's 10 people or I think the most you can have in a text group. And
Oh, okay.
I don't know, maybe it's different with Google. Um, I think it depends on who sets it up. And maybe it's more than 10 now, but it's still that whole thing, like, even for me, I don't like when I get added to a text group that I didn't ask
Yeah.
for, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
because then it's like my phone is like, "Ugh," it's like, "Why are these
Ding,
people text?"
ding,
Yeah,
ding, ding, ding.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it.
So
Yes.
yeah, messaging apps are definitely a big thing, and so, yeah, like, I know you like to use, we communicate a lot. Even though we have each other's phone, we tend
Yeah.
to communicate on Facebook Messenger.
We do.
But I did actually call you when we were in Orlando because I didn't know if you would
Yes.
see the messenger.
Right, yeah.
I said, "I bet he'll answer the phone if the phone's ringing." Uh,
I
so that
do.
so that is funny. But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, this has been good. Janet, great point on the timer alarm apps. I tend to
Yeah.
use the A Lady, and I'll talk to my watch and tell it to set an alarm for me, with the S Lady. Um,
The A Lady? Is that an app?
well, it's made by Amazon. I'm afraid I might have something on and it would start to ask me what I want to do.
Oh,
You know, Alexa.
Alexa.
Yes, yes.
I have one here.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
I don't yes, you didn't know that, right? Right. Yeah, you don't want me to say things too loud because if she hears it, then you'll be in trouble.
I know.
Uh, yeah, we actually have now 2 set up with the, we have lights that I've added to the A-Lady app, and so now, even though I had an app specifically for it from GE, it's called Sync.
Mm,
It's now set up, I can, like, tell it to turn on my, family room light or my front porch light, and it does it, right? And I can
mm,
say, "Hey, turn this light on," boom, wherever but I can also go into the app and turn the lights on and off when we're not home, if we don't wanna set it
awesome.
on an alarm. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's been a kind of a neat feature. I wanna play around with it more because I guess eventually if you connect enough of your lights like, even these lights behind me are on an app that I have on my phone, so if I wanted to
Oh,
change
nice.
the color, don't know if uh, they're probably, work with the A-Lady because I know Chris has that right? This is a good one, Janet. Actually, that, the A-Lady knows too much, and the S-Lady is in dire need of help. Mm,
The A
yeah,
lady and the S lady.
yes, yes,
I
yeah,
love
just
it.
because we don't want them all going crazy while we're sitting here talking. Yeah, what is, I guess does your Google phone have a person, or you just say, "Ask Google"?
Yes, it has a Google, uh
Assistant, is it?
yes. I never use it though.
Right, right,
Yeah, I never use it. Um, but it does have it.
yeah. Because I
I
think
don't even
even on
know
my
I say.
phone, right, they're all that's right, Janet, they are always listening.
True.
That is what people don't realize, and so there are no, devices well, I guess technically my watch is on me, but we don't have any devices in our room, like our bedroom. We don't, need them, we don't need to have the A lady in the room, playing music for us and other stuff like that, but they probably can hear us anyway, who knows? 'Cause we've got them everywhere else. And I actually have, uh speaking of that, I have 4 cameras, Blink cameras outside, and if I wanted to, I can tell the A lady on my because I have a, what do you call it? The, Echo Show right here, but I have it turned off on purpose, so it's not always talking to me. But I could
Mhm.
say, "Show me whichever camera," and it'll come up on the Echo Show, and I could see front yard,
Um,
backyard, carport, and so, the title of it. Yes, yes, yeah, and I guess you can name them other stuff, maybe that's what I should do, but then we'd probably forget,
Right?
you know? And so
Oh my
that's
gosh.
yeah, so that's an interesting one for sure. But,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so Tim, we do
Tim,
have a guest next week.
we have a guest.
We have Sayan Gates. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yes, will be our guest
Yes.
next week on the Tim and Jim show, so excited for that, and, yes, Janet,
Yeah, met
def
her at, Podfest, so
nice.
excited to have her on the show next week.
Yes,
Yeah.
and yes, Janet, security apps are definitely important for many of us, keeps us safe and just makes life easier, because you can they even have these ones where, like, you can, if you have pets in the house, you can talk to your pet, you can feed your pet, you send it shoot out treats, and then it's probably like, "What is that?" Um,
And it
so that
definitely protects us from the bears and the turkeys here, so
does it talk to the bears and the turkeys? Does it talk in turkey or bear?
no, no, it
No,
doesn't.
maybe you need to create an app for that.
Maybe. The possibilities are just endless.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. Oh, I'm
Yes.
curious. Let's see, so I'm gonna turn on this feature. Let's see if it does anything to us. I'm turning on this feature, and this is a new StreamYard feature, and, Tim, you might be able to do it. I'm gonna see what it looks like. So, you can see there you go. And so now StreamYard allows you to do headlines. So as you can see, we now both have underneath our names what our titles is. So Tim can change it to his company name And you can turn this on and off as far as the headline. Since we both put our headline in, it's still there.
Yes.
Uh,
Super cool.
they haven't added it yet on the one we have, but they do have fonts. I did see, I think on the business plan, they're letting people upload their own fonts. We can only do brand colors at this point. So I'll be curious to see if that
Fonts.
becomes a, where you could add custom fonts.
That
So
would be cool.
yes.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, so there's some good stuff. So I want to, yeah, Janet, thank you. Oh, look at that. The Treat app in action. Yes. Yeah, the pet's probably going, "What is that?" I'm surprised that some of them don't, like, then decide to knock the thing down because they wanna try to get more treats out of it. 'Cause if they start to figure out this is a source of food, and then they chew up your camera app, but definitely interesting. But well, Janet, thank you for joining us, and, Tim, we talked about a lot of
Sure.
apps. If you're
We did.
watching on replay, let us know maybe some apps you want us to dive in deeper. Maybe we'll get the company or app creator on the show and we can talk more about
Yeah.
how you can use it to really benefit your business or your marketing. And don't forget, folks, next week we do have a guest. Did I say it right, Tim?
I
Saying
hope
it.
so.
I hope so. We'll find
Yes.
out when Tim talks to her. Uh, but thanks again, folks, for joining us, and we will see you next week on the Tim and Jim Show.
Let's do
Take
the
care.
Tim. Bye.